Jim, I was in the Edmonton locker room last night, and their guys were talking about how, since overtime of Game 4, being able to roll 4 lines has really allowed them to build some momentum. With you guys shortening your bench the way you have, do you feel like maybe you've kind of misplaced some of your team identity at the expense of trying to chase some matchups?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, they can coach their team and form their opinions about their team. For our team, I think, with the exception of last night, we played extremely well. And they came in and played really well, and we had a poor game. That is the facts. So give them that one. They've got 3, and then we'll move on to tomorrow night.
I don't know if I would view it as a silver lining, but can you take from it that it can't get any worse than last night? No,
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No, and Darcy still gave us a chance, right? As bad as we played, I thought, in front of him, he still gave us a chance. So, we got to bounce back from it. When we won, what did we say? Man, we played really well. And you guys said, man, you played really well. Well, they're not playing well. We said, we'll move on to the next game. And they said, we'll move on to the next game, we'll be better. So that's the way it works. There's not a lot of stories to write or for me to give you. You guys can write them, but for us, we did not play well last night. They have the momentum. It's our job to go up there and take it back from them.
I know.
Simple as that.
Sorry. I know that I know you've wanted to keep what you say to the team internally,
Yeah.
but is there much rallying the troops in this instance?
I don't think you have to rally the troops. Again, you're end of April. When you're playing until the end of April, you've got troops that can rally themselves, that believe in themselves, or else you'd be done already. So we just need to play better. We're going to have to understand what we didn't do well, maybe why we didn't do that well, and then just get back after it. Just get back after it.
It seems that you played in Edmonton. You've controlled long stretches of those games. I think most would agree with that. Is that what you can, I don't know, kind of put out there as like a belief factor of, hey, we just went there, we played our game well, now we just have to go do it again?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a blueprint there. Obviously, we didn't get to the final buzzer with the win, which is what we really needed to do. But we give ourselves a really good chance because we were there, and if we can execute better in a few situations or block an extra shot, it's not just offensively, it's defensively, then maybe it's a different story. But those games were well played by us. We'll go back with the intention of playing the same game and get a different result.
It seems very easy for people not in the room to get very high after wins in the playoffs and very low after losses. How do you keep this group even keeled throughout a 7-game series?
Well, I mean, we do have a lot of veterans in there, so they do understand that. But it's the only way to give yourself the best chance for the next game. Because if you think you're too good, you could be in trouble. And if you think you're no good, then you're in trouble the same way. So I answered the question after, I think, in the Edmonton. It's the beauty of professionals. It's hard from the out because you're invested, and believe me, they're invested. But they've been trained, both physically and mentally, to be able to handle situations like that when it goes up and down. And that's part of being able to play in this league and then play in the playoffs.
Can you walk us through, what do you do this morning? What's your process like from last night to puck drop tomorrow night to get this team as ready as they can be?
We had a pretty good sense, after the game of what happened, I guess you could call it. Come in the morning, review, and, pretty much get the same result. And then think about, okay, so how can we change that? What do we have to do? Do we have to make adjustments? Is it a mindset thing? Is it a physical thing? What do we have to do? And so we go through that and have a plan, put a plan in place to be better tomorrow. Yeah. It's fairly simple.
Is there any sense?
Go ahead, Scott. You're going to finish. You got the follow-up?
Zach sort of asked this, but the game is in there because we've seen it. How do you coax that back out? Because it's been a bit dormant for the last, whatever number of periods.
Yeah.
How do you coax that out of them again? Or
Well,
is that on them? Is it?
What's that?
Can you
No,
do it? Or?
we're in it. We're in it together.
Right.
We're a team that includes our training staff, every coaches, everybody's involved. We're all in this together. So it's not them, it's all of us.
Yeah.
And it's there. We've seen it. We felt it. We just have to get back into the frame of mind and maybe the looseness of the body loosening up and just going out there and playing that game again. Yeah. And we maybe got off it a little bit last night, and the results were obvious.
Is there any concern that the players don't have that full tank to tap into, or as full as it usually is?
No, I mean, I think as the playoff series goes on, people are all fatigued. That's when probably banged up, and we don't know the extent that they're banged up, or they don't know the extent we're banged up. So that's all part of this process. And you dig deep, and that's where you turn into a winner. If you've done it before, you've been through it, you know what it's like. If you haven't, you got to ask more of yourself, and that's how you get out to the other side. Now, this is just the start of this. This is the start. This is round one. So you can imagine as we move on what that looks like. So yeah, there's plenty there.
Every elimination game this team's played in 4 years for or against has been a 1-goal game pretty much the whole way through. Do those games tend to just bring out those really tight showings where it's one moment, either way?
I think that happens a lot in games. You look at Game 7s historically, or even elimination games. It's just tight. I think probably you see teams. You saw it in this Four Nations tournament. Everybody thought we're going to see all these goals. It gets tight, and people just concentrate on checking or managing the risk. And when you don't give up easy offense, it's hard to score goals, to create chances in the league. So I think those types of games, all teams get that mindset to really hunker it down, and that's why you see, relatively tight games.
We asked you after the first couple games when you guys had scored, 16 or whatever it was in 3 games, when are the games going to tighten up? And now that they have, even though you've lost a few games, how encouraging is it to go into a must-win game where we've seen Darcy Kemper now completely dominate these last couple of games despite the losses?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly been our best player, and you don't want to rely on him as much as that, but if there's a player in a series you want to be your best player, I would argue you'd probably take your goaltender if you had a chance to choose. So he's in a good place. We know what we have to do, and Darcy gives us those saves. We're gonna play better in front of him tomorrow.
You made a couple of lineup changes with Jordan and Turk coming back in. Turk, I thought, played pretty well, draws a penalty, leads to a goal. Jordan played more than he had when he was in the lineup. What was your takeaway from having them reinserted in the lineup, and I guess maybe what was your view on what they brought to the table?
You know what? I thought they had really good energy. They in reviewing the game, that was the line we liked the most. They played most like our style. And or maybe our other lines, we got off that just a little bit. So that line, forechecked, they drew penalty, right? Obviously, they didn't give up much through the neutral zone, odd man rushes, or just general rush chances. So that was really encouraging. They were probably, in limited minutes, a good example of how we got to play going forward.
You've routinely said that every team is different year to year. This team over 6-7 months, in a lot of ways, looked very different than other versions. But it's Game 6 to where at that moment where you need to prove it that it is indeed different than past clubs.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to prove it. I just think we have to be exactly what you mentioned, Eric. You've been covering the team. You said this team looks and feels different. So tomorrow night they should look and feel like the team you're describing. That's what I think. So there's nothing to prove. There's just go out and be that team who's been different, in your words, all season. And I think, that's a compliment to them. And I think they'll be ready for that. Okay?